Hey guys, and welcome to the second installment of Look What I Found, a Mythos Busters production. I'm Sean. Joining me tonight are the other Mythos Busters. We've got Ian.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hey guys.
And Scott.
I like how your voice kind of cracked at the end of "Look What I Found." In excitement.
It was more of a flip up.
Yeah,
Because we are excited. So the reason we're so excited is, last time we talked about how we had gone forever and a day wanting to do spoilers from FFG, and now we have reason to believe and plans to make this a regular thing. So if the segment has its own name, so it's official. It's written up in the Mythos Busters Incorporated ledger, and tonight we've got a fun one. So since I learned my lesson last time, I think I'll skip all the pomp and thus also the circumstance and just get right into the card. So I think we have to let Ian read this one, right?
I guess so.
That is in my contract. Yeah.
Okay, so before we get there, though, we teased a little bit of the art on our social media, and we had a few responses as to what people thought it might be based on that. There was a lot of Guardian speculation. I'm trying to think what else was listed out there. No one. My point being is that I don't nothing that I saw out there was close.
Yeah, no, I think there was some Seeker stuff too. Someone thought maybe a Guardian Seek or something.
And when you see the art, it kind of makes sense. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
here we go. Without further ado, we bring you Intel Report. Ian, go.
Okay, so Intel Report is a 2-cost rogue event. Level 0 has 2 intellect icons, has the favor and service traits. The text is discover 1 clue at your location. Reaction: when you play Intel Report, increase its cost by 2. Change discover 1 clue to discover 2 clues. The other reaction is when you play Intel Report, increase its cost by 2. Change at your location to at a location up to 2 connections away.
Well,
How
all
is
right.
this level 0?
Right?
Just to, what?
in the class with the most resources.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
immediately my mind jumps to Preston, and
Sure.
think of even solo Preston or 2-player Preston. I mean,
Yeah.
2 cost, discover a clue testlessly, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Or you can increase that by 2 and all of a sudden discover 2 clues for basically what he gives you every turn.
Mhm.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
a clue 2 away for what he gives you each turn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is an
Goes
insane
every
card for Preston.
Preston deck ever until the end of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we made a mistake in naming Jenny the pay-to-win archetype, where, she just has resources and skill boosts. This is actual pay-to-win. You just pay money and things happen for you.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
It's like if you compare it to, say, working a hunch, which is same cost, but it's fast to do discover 1 clue. But that's Seeker, so it makes sense they'd be a little more action efficient, whereas Rogue is like a little less inefficient because they're basically paying to get it done. But you also get these kickers that working a hunch doesn't have. That all of a sudden you can turn it into a drawn to the flame, discovering 2 clues without having to draw an encounter card. Again, obviously you're paying way more at 4 resources at that point,
Mhm.
but it's all checks and balances at that point between the classes.
How about Safina, who can recur this with Painted World?
Oh my god.
Okay, weird rules question, because now I want to play this deck.
Yep.
So when you play Painted World, does it retain its spell trait for any instance? Like, could you uncage the soul into
Oh my
a
God.
Painted World playing an Intel Report and reduce its cost? Is that a thing that happens? I can't imagine that's how that works.
I have to reread Painted World because I haven't played Safina and I can't remember the exact wording. I will get to that.
But how about
Continue on.
how about paying 1 resource for the 4 resource effect?
Yes, you would be able to do those reaction things as an exact copy of the non.
Because it says exact copy, I would guess no. I would
Because it
guess
technically
no.
then is not a spell.
I think it is not a spell, but you could still play like the little reactions, like the
Sure.
up by two, yeah.
As a frequent rogue player and rogue abuser, and another thing to think about with this card, why not just Preston, but I think most rogues that would take this in, is like, do you think about Streetwise, which I use Streetwise in every rogue? You pay 2 to boost your intellect by 3 to take a test. Here you can just pay 2 to get the clue testlessly. Without having to worry about it. Obviously, it's a card in your deck and all that, so maybe there are some cases where you just can't find space for it. But man, just Tesla's clue stuff is I really have a hard time not including it.
Sorry, I'm having a heyday adjusting the screen here.
Oh, I thought you were reading the message in Discord chat that just popped from Legrac. So he says that he's basically posing that question: can you use Uncage the Soul on the Painted World when it's copying a non-spell traded card under Safina? And the answer is that yes, you can use it to play Painted World from your hand, regardless of whether or not the card you're copying is a spell. Uncage the Soul allows you to play a spell or ritual from hand, reducing its resource cost by 3. Painted World is still a spell at the time you are choosing a card to play using Uncage the Soul. You can choose the Painted World as its target. Then, as soon as you begin the sequence of actually playing the card, including checking play restrictions and determining the card's cost, the Painted World becomes a copy of whatever, in this case, Hot Streak or Backstab or whatever other card you want to copy.
So you could use...
You could make this it's base cost free because
but the reactions
kickers still require real resources.
Exactly.
But the way I'm reading that though, like let's say you pay for 1 kicker and its cost is now 4, would Uncage the Soul make it cost 1?
No, because I think it just reduces the base cost from what I'm reading.
But reading Intel Report says when you play Intel Report, increase its cost by 2.
Oh, you're
okay,
right.
Never mind.
It's not pay additional, it's increase its cost. Oh.
Yeah.
BD Flory is saying yes, and he's usually pretty up on his rule stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry to take us down that rabbit hole, but happy ending, right?
No, that's an important rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah. Because that's a very important consideration for this card because this is great in Ceph.
Yes. Amazing.
Yeah, Preston, Safina. Another one who I like for it is whenever I see Tesla's clue card, my mind goes to Lola. I think Lola likes this too.
Proof again that Matt's favorite investigator is his OC, Safina.
You know who I think of when I see cards like this? Every Dunwich investigator.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, not every. You wouldn't put this in an Ashcan deck.
Well,
or Rex.
Or Rex, yeah.
I mean, there are still problems it solves that they don't have ready access to. Within their
60% of Dunwich investigators.
I can't imagine ever playing this in Ashcan. He has better tools to get clues fast. Like the one that this segment is named after. Look what I found.
From distant locations? Like, yeah, if you're just looking at the one clue.
With Duke, though?
Well, again, you find more value in the Circle Undone investigating from afar.
Oh, well, and I don't... Yeah. I'll take your word on that one.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
But I generally think my default mode of deck building is solo, so...
Sure.
I think this is really good solo, though.
Oh, no, totally.
I think it's actually better... Like, if you want to go at ends of the spectrum, I think it's much less effective in 4-player.
Why is that?
I think there's just so many more clues. Like, if you are someone splashing for clues, like we were talking about this, I forget on which channel, in which Discords or whatever, but they were talking about clue gathering, and I was saying, for someone was building a Yorick deck, I'm like, well, you can splash, look what I found, and scene of the crime. But when you're playing 4 players, that's so little clue acceleration. Like, maybe you just either want to be cluing or fighting. Like, having your fighter splash a bit of clues.
Yeah.
I find it's so ineffective, right? It's like, a Mark 4-player game where he has evidence. Like, yeah, I got a clue. Yeah, cool, Mark. Like, I'm over here getting 8. Like, what? Now you just made that location uneven in clues, and now one of my tricks is worse, right? I mean, you could.
Why you gotta hate on the flex?
2, maybe 3-player.
But I think the thing is like a 1 or 2 player where you're both playing flex, or solo, which you are just always playing flex. This is fantastic. I'm saying if I were to give a downside, I would say
I think
like
it
4-player ending stuff.
It makes it to the chopping block on deck cuts more readily in 4-player. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying where I see its weakness.
Hot take: Scott hates Intel report.
Yeah, confirmed.
Board 11.
I think I don't disagree with what Scott is saying, but I think the second kicker where you discover at a location further from you probably gets more value in multiplayer, where you're more likely to have more revealed locations, and because I feel like I'm more likely to use the first kicker and discover 2 clues more often in more cases, but the second one I think is more like a special situation thing.
I would venture a guess that the majority of time this card gets played, you're just doing the first kicker. The majority of time.
Yeah. Agreed.
What about Solo Finn? Because he's got the ability to get clues quite easily, but is this a good support for himself?
I think he might take this, but then he would probably upgrade out of it.
Because it does have those 2 intellect icons too. That's the other thing. Like that's
Yeah, this slots in for perception.
Yeah, I could see him dropping this for other tools that are more useful to, like, because he doesn't necessarily need rogue help getting clues because he's so good. He has access to Seeker and he has such high intellect. So I could see him including this at level 0 and then swapping it out after the first 2-3 scenarios.
So
yeah, Finn's the one I don't necessarily feel like I've thought to myself, like, I need more clue help in this deck, but I can actually see other rogues.
Yeah.
And Motux brings up in our Discord chat that Intel report gets around locked door, which is pretty big.
Yeah, so it's similar to Drawn to the Flame in that regard. Excellent. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
It's a good card.
This is a very good card.
Now I'm thinking of scenario-specific situations. This one is in my head because recently playing Return to Dunwich. So, spoiler for, Dunwich Legacy 2 years ago. But in Blood on the Altar, there's a certain location where you have to keep, like, getting clues off it and dodging into the location and getting clues and back out. Like, how nice would it be to just, like, zoom up some clues without having to actually go into that location?
Yeah, what about Lost in Time and Space too?
Yeah,
and
sure.
That's the thing, is like up to 2 locations away. Like even in most of the big maps, that's going to cover like 50% of the locations, even in the big maps. Time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Good card.
Good card.
It's all right.
We're on a hot streak.
Scott continues to hate on good cards.
I'm not hating on it. It's an excellent card. I just think that we also have to point out where it might not be absolutely great. I think it would be okay.
I wouldn't play this in Dark Horse.
4-player.
No, okay. Of course not.
Pro tip.
Yeah. Hey, what about Wendy? Although she's got lock picks, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you upgrade from this into lock picks?
Is there a Wendy build that usually runs, like that you find yourself with extra resources? Because I guess
no.
Yeah. So that I don't know if this really fits in Wendy necessarily.
I mean, I've ran some Wendy builds that are like Lone Wolf, cash heavy. The thing is, that build is like event heavy because that's the whole point of it. So that like it's a matter of looking back through that list and seeing, is there anything that could be swapped out for Intel report?
I
mean, the nice thing is with the amulet, you could potentially recur it. But yeah,
and with Yaddle, you could use its icons.
Yeah,
sure. But that's also true for every other event in that deck. So
fair. I mean, I think the last thing I would say is something we've probably already said without saying it, is that this card is great if you have a resource engine. I feel like
right.
Yes.
you probably want to be playing this at 4. You will play it at 2. 4 is kind of like that sweet spot, and then if you're playing it at 6 and you found a special place for it, I guess more power to you.
Yeah.
But either way, playing a 4-cost event, even for 2 clues, it kind of requires some money behind you. So
Yeah.
If only we had a rogue that had lots of money, particularly 4 money, readily $4 every turn. If only we had that.
all right, well, guys, any closing thoughts on Intel Report before we wrap this sucker up?
Unlike Scott, I think this is a good card.
I hate all of you.
Yes, because they were all saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm. What was the... Oh, no, I'm misremembering something. Did we have a previewed card that was something like this?
Yeah, it was
Decoy.
Decoy, yep, we had the evasion version of this.
And did it have favor as well? Or
I believe so.
think
Yeah,
it
I think
did.
it was the same traits, favor and service, if
Okay.
I remember right. Yeah.
Oh man, is Charlie Kane gonna work with favors?
I mean, it
That would
should.
be really cool, actually.
Portents of the future. Or visions of
Yeah,
future
this
past.
makes it seem like there's going to be a whole cycle of these for each class. So
Hmm.
Or do you think it's going to be rogue based? Like, do you think we'll see Guardian ones that have kicker costs and stuff like that?
well, the decoy was was decoys?
Decoy was rogue.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
Rogue
rogue too. Okay, for some reason I was thinking it was Survivor. I think because it was the Rita article. Maybe
I'll say
or-
this strikes me as a rogue.
Yeah. It kind of seems
Flavor.
like a rogue
Yeah.
sweet.
Well, I'll take that. Just pay for everything.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for this Look What I Found for the secret name. I hope everyone enjoys the secret name. I'm very much looking forward to it, and look forward to another one of these when... Oh, shoot. Now, what's the second Mythos pack called? The
Process.
I've got
I
the
don't remember.
guide right over here. Hang on. I should know these
It
things.
is The Wages of Sin.
Join us next
That's right.
time when we spoil a card from The Wages of Sin. We have been the Mythos Busters. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.